Quickly before I go any further, if you could drop a like on the video right now and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 10k by the end of the year, so every like, every subscription really helps, so that would be appreciated. Other than that, let's get into the video. Look, I did just make a video talking about how I think the Pistons won the draft. Well, that was probably hyperbole. That was just an excited Pistons fan. But when I look at one team that I think absolutely killed the last 24 hours, the draft and the trades inside of the draft, you have to look no further than the Dallas Mavericks. And ironically, actually, the team that they traded with that helped them along this journey, the Philadelphia 76ers, I would say, were another one of those teams, which I'll probably talk about in a bit. You might be seeing that upload as well. But let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks, because this is a team that has intrigued me the whole year, because what's not to be intrigued about? I think Kristaps Porzingis has the potential to be a top 15 player in the league if he can get healthy. Big if, but it can happen. Luka Doncic is already a top 10 player in the league. He could be the best player in the league next year. Like, he just could be. That's the kind of potential he has. It's not even potential at this point. It's just like what he is. He's just that good. But obviously he can still get better. Then you've got guys like Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, Dorian Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway Jr., a good coach in Rick Carlisle, a good owner in Mark Cuban. Just a lot of solid parts around a generational talent and a very good talent as well in Porzingis. So I was very interested to see what the Mavs not only did in the draft, but also did in free agency, and they exceeded any expectations I had of them. Coming into the draft, coming into free agency, I thought they needed to fill two areas of need. They needed a little bit of shooting, a little bit of playmaking, that kind of area. But mainly we all knew they needed some 3-and-D, some just defense, some versatile wing defenders, because they got absolutely cooked by Kawhi Leonard. Like, there's no other way to put it. He was just cooking them, and it was because they really just didn't have anyone remotely good enough to defend him. Maxi Kleber was the best person they put in front of him. I think Maxi Kleber did a good job as well, but like, is that the matchup you want to take? No, that's not what you want. You don't want Maxi Kleber going up against LeBron, going up against Kawhi, going up against KD if you make it to the finals. These aren't the kind of matchups you want. So you wanted to bring in some wings, and you started by bringing in a fellow Aussie, Josh Green, someone who ticks those boxes, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. He's a ready-build NBA prospect. He's someone that's going to come in and give them 20 minutes a night, probably, maybe even more. He could come in and just provide that kind of impact. Maybe by the end of the season, he's performing in the playoffs, but at the very least, he's going to provide some kind of impact from the get-go. And I think that's important. Again, I think this is a team that has a chance to win a championship as soon as next year. Why not? Why not? What reason is there not to see them as a championship level team? When you look at the talent on the roster and you look at everything around that talent, they should be in championship contention. And in terms of draft picks go, Josh Green is probably someone who can help them compete from that aspect. And then from a trade perspective, Seth Curry for Josh Richardson and the 36th pick, who they ended up getting with Tyler Bay, another versatile defender who people thought slipped. Some people thought he could have been even a top 20, top 25 pick, slipped all the way to 36, another great pick. And you brought in Josh Richardson, who people probably have a little bad recollection of him because he wasn't great in Philly, but do you remember him in Miami? Some people thought the 76ers got like Jimmy Butler light in that trade. Some people were like, oh, that's not that bad of a deal, that Josh Richardson's going to fit a hole. He's going to do exactly what Jimmy Butler did, but shoot the three ball. Yeah, see, that wasn't true, but what we do know is Josh Richardson is a fantastic defender, and he's a pretty good scorer. He can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot the three. He can make a few plays off the dribble. Like, he's good on offense, very solid on offense. Someone that's not a liability on that end of the floor, but defense is where he makes his money. Defense is where he's going to be most of value alongside Luka Doncic. I can see him being injected straight into the starting lineup. One of the best trades of the period so far in terms of you get him and Tyler Bay. Seth Curry was a price to pay, but then again, the Mavericks seem to make magic because they seem to get Seth Curry 2.0 with Tyrell Terry, who some people thought was a top 10 prospect, a top 10, top 15 type of guy. They got him with a 31st pick. Apparently he's Seth Curry 2.0, but he can put the ball on the floor. He's been working in quarantine. He's been getting bigger. He's been getting stronger. He's been working on his jump shot, getting even better. And yeah, you're bringing him in with a 31st pick. You're getting rid of Seth Curry. You're bringing in someone who's more of a position of need and more of a role of need in Josh Richardson as someone who can defend. And then you get Tyrell Terry, who I don't expect to come in and make that instant impact. He could. It's hard to tell. Maybe think of that Landry Shamet kind of impact he made, which was quite a big impact coming into the team when he was in Philly. So maybe that's the kind of thing you can see from Tyrell Terry. I mean, shooters are going to shoot, so if he comes in and if he can still shoot, then he's going to make some kind of an impact, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is they got Josh Richardson, who's just a perfect fit for them and a perfect trade, and now you surround Luka with Richardson, you have Kleber, you have Hardaway Jr., you still have Dorian Finney-Smith, you still have Kleber, you still have Porzingis, you still have Powell, you have all of these players, and you bring in Josh Green as well, someone who's a ready-made athletic defender who can switch, who's versatile, who's still developing his jump shot, but it seems like it can come along. It's not terrible. It's not like he's a non-existent jump shooter. It's in the progress. It's progressing. It's in the works. And yeah, in terms of teams going well in the draft and in the last 24 hours, the Dallas Mavericks went as well as anyone else. The winners and losers of the draft, I mean, it's always a good title to have. And I did it on my last video, so I'm just calling myself out here. But like, you don't know who won the draft until 2 years down the line or until 1 year down the line. Like, who thought the Miami Heat completely won the draft by getting Tyler Hero? Some people thought he was a good pick. That was them winning the draft. Maybe not winning the draft because obviously teams got better players, but in terms of where he was selected and then Kendrick Nunn as well, you would think Miami won the draft in terms of what they had to pick and what they picked and how well they did. Like, who would have thought that? You don't know that. So going into next year, we don't know if these guys are going to pan out for the Mavericks. We don't know if anyone's going to pan out. We don't know who's going to pan out. So it's hard to say who won the draft. We do know one thing. Dallas made a good trade. Like, we know what Josh Richardson is. We know he's a good defender who can shoot the ball, who can space the floor, who can put it on the deck if he needs. He probably won't need to do too much of that when you're playing alongside Luka Doncic. That's not very necessary when you've got a 30, 10, and 10 guy who's only 20 years of age and is just getting better. So yeah, that's probably not the most necessary thing, but defending is, and he does that to a T. So you got that. That's a trade we can already tick off. Like, we know that's going to be a good trade. Josh Green, another thing we can't tick off just yet, but in terms of his fit, that's a tick. In terms of Tyrell Terry's fit, that's a tick. In terms of Tyler Bay's fit, that's a tick. Tick, 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 tick. That looks like I've actually got a tick. But yeah, those are all great picks. Those are all great trades. And the Mavericks have done it again. They're just a smart team. They're just a smart front office. They're just a smart organization. And they continue to put the pieces around their franchise guy in Luka Doncic. And don't be surprised if some of these picks turn out to be the players that some people anticipated them to be. If Josh Richardson gets back to his Miami best, this is a team that's going to compete for the championship. I've said it, I'll say it again. There's a number of good teams. The Mavericks are going to be one of the top 8 teams in the league with the potential to be the top team in the league because they've got so much upside. Like the Nuggets, like those kind of teams. Their age profile, the kind of mesh that they have, the coaching, the environment. There's just so much room for upside and there's just so much room for development. They've done everything they could have in this window and they've just done smart moves. They haven't given up 3 future first round picks in order to secure someone who's going to help them for 1 year or half a season like the 76ers did with Tobias Harris. What they've done is they've got the future sorted, they've helped their future, and they've helped their present. I think Josh Richardson's younger than Seth Curry, if I'm not mistaken, so in that regards, he's not someone that's old. I think he's like 27, 26, so he fits the age profile as well. There's no one on this team that they've brought in and said, oh, you're just going to be some kind of veteran presence that's going to be on the team for half a year, which, I mean, there's still merit in doing that, but at the moment, everyone fits the same age profile, and that's a scary sight because Dallas aren't just building for next year, they're building for the next 10 years. And alongside Sam Presti's OKC, these are going to be some strong teams out west and some very, very hard teams to beat. I think Dallas still have the mid-level exception, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe they go out and get a Danilo Gallinari, that kind of guy. Maybe they're interested in doing something like that. Even a Jay Crowder. They're not done yet. They've still got a few moves to make, but in terms of how the draft could have gone, it couldn't have gone any better. From my perspective, someone who's not the biggest draft expert, but someone who read up on everything and looked at what draft experts were saying, and someone who knows what Dallas did need. I knew what they needed, I knew what they wanted, and by all reports, they got exactly that and even more in the draft with players that just fit that bill, and the Josh Richardson trade, win-win trade. One of the biggest win-win trades we've seen this year, because Philly get their shooting, Dallas get their defense and shooting. 2 crucial things for that team, and yeah, it's just looking a lot better for Dallas within the space of 24 hours, and that's great to see because I already thought this team was going to contend, yet alone making that team significantly better through the draft and through trades. Bravo, bravo, Dallas. Bravo, Dallas. A lot of teams did well in this draft. Dallas were definitely up the top of that list, and that's why I thought I'd talk about it. Look, if you made it to the end of the video, this was just a quick video talking about the Dallas draft, how I think they did so well because of the draft picks they made. If you made it to the end of the video and you liked it, drop a like. If you didn't, drop a like. That would be appreciated. Also, consider subbing to the channel. I'm trying to hit 10K by the end of the year, so that would also help as well. Other than that, I'll catch you next time. Bye.